Usul as-sunnah. We want to explain these two words because him naming his book by this name is important. Usul is the plural of the word aslun, asl, the origin of something. Your father is the asl. Your grandfather is the asl, and your grandfather's father is the asl, and on and on and on. Those are your usul. You are a branch from your father, and so forth and so on. The usul. Usul is the plural of asl. And in English, we could translate it as being the foundation, the fundamental of something. Ikhwani, we have to have usul in our religion, and we have to have usul in the dunya. This is a universal issue that has been accepted. This is a universal issue. You young brothers, you have to develop usul in your religion. How you understand your religion, how you practice your religion. If someone comes to one of the older people in this masjid, a young man, and he says, I want to marry your daughter. I want to marry your sister, Abu Usaamah. I want to marry your daughter. I say, okay. What kind of work do you do? He said, I don't have a job. I said, okay. Where are you going to put her? Where are you going to let her live? He said, I don't know. Maybe I make a cardboard box and we'll live in a box outside. I don't know where I'm going to be. But just give me the daughter and then we'll make tawakkul on Allah. I say to him, no. You're not ready to get married because you don't have any usul. You don't have the basic fundamentals that need to be present in order to get married. He can't turn around and say to me, you don't like the sunnah of getting married. You don't like the sunnah. He can't say that to me. You don't have usul, so you shouldn't embark upon this issue. Why do I give that example? That same example is what we try to tell many people in this country from the young people. People who want to build the khilafah of al-Islam. People want to make everything jihad, jihad, jihad. No one's against nikah. No one's against that. That's from al-Islam. And no one is against the khilafah. That's from al-Islam. But you have to have usul before these things can be built. And if you don't have usul, there are going to be problems. That's the simple point. This building that we're in right now, if it doesn't have foundation, it's going to be problems. Your family, if it don't have foundation, it's going to be problems. Your religion is the same way. Your religion is the same way. So I want to show you from the Kitab of Allah and the authentic Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam how Al-Islam pays attention to building usul. How if you try to build this building without a solid foundation, you're setting yourself up for destruction and failure. If you try to be in Islam without a foundation, you're just some person who's very emotional. You're setting yourself up to go to jail for nothing. You're setting yourself up to cause fitna and fasad for nothing. So as it relates to this issue, how did Al-Islam pay attention to the usul? Meaning the foundation. Pay attention, ikhwani. I don't care how gifted you are as a young brother. I don't care how gifted you are, how smart you are. You got your degree from the university and you're going to go get a job. You have to start off from the ground floor. Yes, the man who preceded you, he doesn't have the knowledge that you have, technical knowledge. Your father doesn't have a lot of the information that you may have. He doesn't know how to use the internet, but he has experience. He has knowledge of the dunya. You have to get foundations and you have to learn under someone like the ulama of al-Islam, like people who have knowledge and who have preceded you. Because al-Islam paid attention to the issue of usul as we're going to show you. Bismillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillahi amma ba'du. As we were mentioning, ikhwani, before we broke for Salat al-Maghrib, the religion of Islam, the Quran, the Sunnah, the ulama of Islam has placed a lot of emphasis upon the importance of building fundamentals and the basics from which one is going to move out from. Allah Ta'ala mentioned an incident that we want to bring to your attention from the many ayat in Surah At-Tawbah. وَالَّذِينَ اتَّخَذُوا مَسْجِدًا ضِرَارًا وَكُفْرًا وَتَفْرِيقًا بَيْنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَإِرْصَادًا لِمَنْ حَارَبَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ مِنْ قَبْلِ. Allah Ta'ala described the group of people, the munafiqun, hypocrites. Those people who took and built and made a masjid. And they built the masjid on four things. They built that masjid upon harming the Muslims. They built the masjid upon spreading kufr. They built the masjid on dividing the Muslims. And they built the masjid to wage war against Allah and His Messenger. This is what happened during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, where the hypocrites didn't like what was going on, and as a result of that, they broke off from the main masjid at that time, which is Masjid Quba. Not the Masjid al-Nabawi, but Masjid Quba was the first masjid built in Islam after the Prophet made the hijrah ﷺ from Mecca to Al-Medina. And although Masjid al-Nabawi is more virtuous than Masjid Quba, because if you pray there, there are 1,000 prayers, 1,000 rewards for praying the salat. Nonetheless, Masjid Quba was the first masjid. So those people, they broke away, as the munafiq do. They don't like what's going on with the administration, with the decisions that are being made. They don't have any usul. So if they don't have any usul, they go and they do their own thing. Allah Ta'ala told the Prophet concerning this issue, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, لا تقم فيه أبدا لمسجد أسس على التقوى من أول يوم أحق أن تقوم فيه. Don't stand in that masjid ever, Ya Muhammad. That masjid that those people built for those four things, that's their pillars, those are the foundations that they're upon. Harming the Muslims, spreading kufr, making distinctions and splitting the Muslims, and waging war against Allah and His Messenger. Don't ever stand in that masjid, because there is a masjid that was built from the first day. The very first day, it was built upon a taqwa from Allah. And Allah mentioned some of the men in it. فِيهِ رِجَالٌ يُحِبُّونَ أَن يَتَطَهَّرُوا وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُطَّهِّرِينَ. In that masjid are a group of men who love to purify themselves. And Allah loves those who are pure. So this ayat, putting aside the historical background of what happened, the issue of what the two masjids were built upon, the foundations, the usul of both masjids, is being brought to the attention of those who read the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So those are two ayat from the Quran that deal with the importance of what the thing is built upon. Because whatever is built upon is going to be reflected in the furu', or the branches of the thing that is serving as the foundation. Another ayah in the same surah, Surah Tawbah, Allah Ta'ala asks a rhetorical question that's clear. He said, Tabarak wa Ta'ala, أَفَمَنْ أَسَّسَ بُنْيَانَهُ عَلَى التَّقْوَى مِنَ اللَّهِ وَرِضْوَانٍ خَيْرٍ أَمَنْ أَسَّسَ بُنْيَانَهُ عَلَى شَفَا حُرُفٍ هَارٍ فَانْهَارَ بِهِ فِي نَارِ جَهَنَّمَ وَاللَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الظَّالِمِينَ. Is the one who Wallahu la yahdi al-zalimin, is the one who built his building, he built his structure, he built it upon the taqwa from Allah, and he built it upon the pleasure of Allah. Is he like the one who built his structure upon a foundation that is going to crumble and fall and become from the precipice of the nar? Allah does not love those people who make oppression. Allah does not make those people, and He doesn't guide those people who make oppression. So again, this ayat, along with the many ayat of the Quran, they go to show the emphasis upon whether it's the deen or the dunya, building one's principles upon that which is solid, and not building your principle or building your structure upon that which is faulty and weak.